And welcome into KC Sports Tonight, starring Gabe Swartz, featuring Jared Koller on a Wednesday here in Kansas City at KC5. Thanks for hanging out with us. Excuse me, as always, that came out of nowhere. We're going to start with the Chiefs because they returned to practice today. Gabe, injury report of note, left tackle DJ Humphries did not practice, but he wasn't ruled out for Sunday yet, so that might be a good sign that it's not a serious injury, but I don't know if he'll play on Sunday. Harrison Butker was limited, so he might play on Sunday. Hollywood Brown did not practice today. There was talks that he might. That's the state of the injuries. Any of those headlines stand out to you?
Yeah, I think that the Harrison Butker being back is a good sign in terms of the fact that it's opening the practice window as quickly as they possibly could. And that I don't think that they
Gabe, why do you hate Matthew Wright? He won AFC Special Teams Player of the Week today.
You know what?
That's the other headline. And now you're wanting him replaced.
I am a huge fan of Matthew Wright and the work that he's done in limited action with the Chiefs over this year and in 2022. I'm just saying, of all of those things, I think it's pretty good because big moments, it seems, if this team is going to play one possession games and be reliant upon late game heroics. I know that 2 of the 3 game winners this season have been from 31 yards, and we felt comfortable with it because it was Spencer Schrader and it was Matthew Wright from those distances. The other one was a 51-yarder, and we felt comfortable with it because it was Harrison Butker. Yeah. And so I think that
on that one, they stopped trying to gain any more yardage.
Because it was Harrison Butker.
So, but like if they had Wright or Schrader, they would have tried to get more yardage and probably would have.
That's kind of what I'm leaning toward, though.
Right.
Is that it makes you so much more comfortable in terms of the stress and the required task for the offense to get into scoring range, and that is despite the fact that like Matthew Wright still hit a 50-yarder on Sunday night in the win over the Chargers. So that was really good. And yeah, DJ Humphries, I know he was there stretching before practice, so he didn't participate, but he was out there loosening the hamstrings, which it appeared tightened up on him, or he felt something weird when what was that third quarter on fourth late it was fourth quarter
later.
It was fourth quarter. Yeah, fourth quarter on Sunday night. So that is of note as well. And then I think that the Jawan Taylor stuff
I did mention him.
He was limited, but that's probably just a pain management and giving a veteran guy a rest.
Well, the reason why I think it's interesting, the Butker and Humphries equation, like they're entering a stretch of 3 games in 11 days. And so you have to think that DJ Humphries, coming off a torn ACL, hasn't played football in a year. He just had his first game back, and he got hurt in that first game. He will not and should not play all 3 games in 11 days. You got to kind of manage one where, like, regardless of the 3 and 11, he might not be ready to go Sunday, period. But even if he was, I think you might want to look at it like, okay, we'll sit him out this week. We'll then let him play the next Saturday, then sit him out the next, and, kind of ease his way in there. But then you're getting late in the season, and you like to have him have as many reps as possible. So I get if they'd maybe want him to play this Sunday, then sit out the next, to try to maximize the games. But that's another factor. It's not just like week by week by week. They're entering a weird stretch injury-wise.
They're also entering a stretch of the Browns and the Texans and the Steelers, which are all 3 teams that have rushed the passer really well all season long. And we've seen that the Chiefs have struggled to protect Patrick Mahomes, whether it's a good pass rush or not. The Panthers don't have a good pass rush. They got him 5 times. The Raiders don't have a good pass rush outside of Max Crosby.
Well, the guy going up against Wanya Morris looked pretty good on Black Friday.
Yes. Wanya Morris made Kaylavon Chason look pretty solid on Black Friday. And so what I'm saying is they don't necessarily have to play elite pass rushes to make them look elite
for sure.
With the way that the left tackle play has been. So I think that brings into play a lot of things. But Andy Reid has been notoriously really good in big games in terms of avoiding allowing defensive ends to just game wreck. And so if they really need to plan around it, I think they can plan around it. I think a lot of this year, though, they've spent time trying to figure out if Kingsley or if Wanye are capable of operating on an island. And they've not given help when they probably should. And as a result, we've seen what we've seen. And we've learned more about the left tackle position as a result.
Yeah. Well, do you think what you saw on Sunday, do you think the left tackle play was any better this past Sunday than most of the year? And when you take out I think the Raiders game was an extreme and the Bengals game was an extreme. Outside of that, do you think DJ Humphries was any better? Because I don't. Now, I still think DJ Humphries should be the left tackle going forward because I think he can and will be better. But the first impression was like, okay, this is a guy that is going to get beat more than you would like.
I mean, I don't think that it was overwhelmingly positive experience, but I also I don't think that it was. I think
that's
that
a
it was
review for many of my high school girlfriends. I don't think it was an overwhelmingly positive experience.
I just thought that it was probably what you were to expect from a guy coming off a torn ACL, playing in his second, playing in a game 2 weeks after signing. So,
I expected more. I think in hindsight that was wrong. I was wrong. But I think it's like if you're healthy enough, was he 100%? No, but he was healthy enough to get the green light to play. And it's not like he was getting beat one way. He's getting beat a lot of different ways. And I think he will be better, and I think he should be better. But I thought he would play better. I was wrong. But I mean, it's not just his fault. Listen, the offensive line across the board was not good. I mean, Jawan Taylor continued to have some struggles in the interior line. Maybe that was a product of trying to help out the tackles and the communication with the Chargers running a lot of stunts, and the Chargers have a good pass rush. But, I mean, it just was another discouraging performance that I think continues to really limit what this offense can do, to where they have to succeed at the end of games, and I think they have to get marginally better if they want to win some playoff games, because their defense isn't going to bail them out as much as they have on the whole this year.
Yeah, that's. I would say that's fair. We will see. I mean, it doesn't seem like whatever changes at left tackle, the results have relatively, in terms of what the Chiefs have been able to do, they've had stretches of the offense looking solid. They've had stretches of the offense looking pretty bad, but it always looks good on third down, pretty much.
And at the end of
and the end of games.
In 2-minute drills. I mean, not necessarily it doesn't look good when they have chances to close out games. It looks good when they have chances to go win or tie the game.
And they absolutely need it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is just crazy, and it's why I have so much confidence with what they're going to do in the playoffs. But it's also why if you don't, I can't blame you, because it's this team has flaws, but they consistently overcome it. So as we look ahead to this Browns game, do you expect a similar formula where it's another close game, Chiefs at the end make one fewer mistake than the other team?
I don't know, because there's the recipe for the Browns being able to just kind of match the Chiefs in terms of I think that Jameis Winston plays with a level of carefree. It's almost, I don't know if carefree is the right way to describe it, because you know that he actually cares so much and he's so invested in the result.
Yeah.
But he plays with a level of reckless abandon, yes. That the results, he just kind of slings it, and the result is the result. And I don't know if that could go several different ways. It could result in the Chiefs defense finally getting some turnovers. They haven't really done any of that in recent weeks. I think it was 2 turnovers in the last 6 weeks. And it also could result in we saw what Jerry Jeudy did against the Broncos, 220 yards, and Jameis Winston went for 497. So I don't know, but I also think that the Chiefs will do enough to win. Yeah, that's kind of – it's just it's odd to see a team that is a 12-win team going on the road to a 3-win team that's not a divisional opponent. This is typically a spot where you would just go in and handle business, and usually the weird places that trip you up on the road in the NFL is, it's a late season road divisional matchup. This is not a divisional matchup. They're only a 4-point favorite.
Is it that? I thought it was 4.5. Is it now down to 4?
It's down to 4. It was down to 4 when I last looked.
But like I don't mind that because I think it's probably gonna be a close game. I would bet a lot of money that the Chiefs are going to win the game though. But like, are the Chiefs going to win by 1, 2, or 3 again? Yeah, I mean, I think that's because they aren't trying to win by 20 points. Like, they could have potentially scored a touchdown against the Chargers and won by more, but they, settled for the field goal. Like,
I don't know if they could have. Like, that's the thing.
Right. I mean, but like, it was within. They were in the red zone. Like, if they were down 6 points, what percentage chance do you give them of winning that game?
Oh, yeah, I think that they would have matched. But
right.
Yeah.
So, and I think you can say that about a lot of games. Like the Panthers, that field goal, if they needed a touchdown, they might have done. It's like, they do what they need to do to win.
Yeah, that's the best way.
With the final point spread, like if you look at their drives, like let's see, what are some of the other field goals? Like we said with the Bengals, they could have gotten closer. I don't know if they were scoring a touchdown there, but I guess they did score a touchdown against the Bucs. So that's why I don't read as much into the point differential. But that's a spot
where the game situation required it because they got the ball first in overtime, and a touchdown ended the game, and a field goal puts you in a spot where the other team knows they've got 4 downs to do whatever they need.
Right. It's just when you get in the mud, they aren't thinking, okay, let's try to beat this team by 8 points. They're like, what do we need to do on this drive to get the win? And a lot of times that's drive down in field goal range.
Yeah, I just would push back on that as somebody who was there on Sunday night thinking at 13-0 at halftime. I was thinking, what?
Sure,
this kind of feels like, man, they're gonna win like 20-7,
well,
and it's gonna be relatively stress free.
No,
I don't think that was some absurd wishful thinking. I didn't think it'd come
down to them needing to drive for a game-winning field goal, but I did not think that the Chiefs were going to be able to take their foot off the gas. Even at 13-0. I think the Chargers have – and the Chargers showed that they could move the ball.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, it's close games. It's entertaining. It's stressful. It's so strange, Gabe, because, I felt way more stress during the Royals regular season than I do in this Chiefs regular season.
Because it still doesn't feel like meaningful football yet.
Right, but these games are, coming down to literally the last minute, and when did you have any doubt that the Chiefs were going to go down and win?
No,
that's what I mean. That's crazy.
But that's the inevitability of Patrick Mahomes,
and that's crazy.
And that's
I mean,
it is absurd.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that should be that is the thing that, despite how much of this season Chiefs fans can say, you know what, it hasn't really been fun. It hasn't looked the way that we wanted to look. I had Patrick Mahomes on my fantasy team, and he's only putting up 1 touchdown a week. That's not very fun.
Yeah,
Travis Kelce's only scored twice this year.
Fantasy
that's not
hasn't
fun.
Been,
no, that is where I'm saying those feelings. Don't let that override the fact that we're watching.
Yes,
literally
They're
one of the most clutch performers in sports at this moment, and that in the fourth quarter, you have somebody who is not worried about what other people or what other people are doing, because he's only worried about what he can control. There's a really, really good piece in Sports Illustrated this week from Greg Bishop about this, about how Mahomes is almost singularly focused during games on the thing, and throughout the week and throughout his preparation, on not what other people around him in his life are doing, but on what he can singularly control. I think that is just really good process for almost anyone to take into their life, of control what you can control and don't stress over the other things. It's easier said than done. The fact that he's actually able to go out and do it is very impressive, and I think it's probably the biggest reason that in fourth quarters he just knows, all right, I've got 4 downs to move the chains here. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
29 career game winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime. That's a high number, folks. 26-26 when he trails at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's not supposed to happen. But he's done a lot of that this year, to his credit. All right, friends, it's time for the Jameis Winston quote portion of the show. Gabe, instant reactions to these quotes. All right, first up, I'm just praying to the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
He did last week. There was no interception, no pick sixes against the Steelers. So
I
that was
said,
a success.
This is after he won the national championship. I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. And then I said, we strong then. Strong. That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. And then he goes, Gabe, would you like to demonstrate eating the dub?
Nope.
Okay.
No,
right.
no, thank you. I don't want to get memed, but I know what he did, and you can look it up.
I thought Bruce Arians was black. Not sure where that came from. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The Bucks Q's and C's coming out that door. No, we don't know how to do these rhymes. We know about pancake blocks and throwing dimes. That was strong. That was strong. If that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what does.
Yeah, he is a different cat.
We're not done, Gabe. There's a white boy from Detroit that I really admire named Eminem. He said you only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. Not wrong. And this is a guy who's gotten his chance. I don't know if he's made the most of it, but he's made them entertaining. Okay? He's must watch. Must watch TV. Represent the names on your back. Represent the names on your helmet. Well, we don't got no decal, so represent the Browns. We're going up against a team that has no decal, Gabe.
No decals on the logo.
That's tough. You can't say the sky's the limit when people are on the moon.
Wow, that's an interesting thought.
You know, are you going to tell Jameis Winston he's wrong? I'm not. So, yeah, I've not listened to. I'm not sure if he's at his press conference yet about the Chiefs, but I'll be interested to see what he has to say about your Kansas City Chiefs. So, if anything, should be good television on Sunday. One, because it's Patrick Mahomes, and as he said in the golf cart in Las Vegas in that TNT The Match, he makes good TV. That's what he does. You throw Patrick Mahomes and Jameis Winston. Have they ever played each other, Gabe?
No.
Not even with the Bucks?
No, I don't think so.
I'm gonna look it up, folks. This is live.
No, because every Mahomes matchup with the Bucks has come with Brady on the field.
Yeah.
Until Baker.
So that was he has played the Chiefs, but it was Alex Smith, 2016. 24 for 39 with a touchdown, no pick. And Jameis Winston beat the Chiefs 19-17. That was Nick Foles' game, I believe. Let's check, because I believe Jared Koller was there for KCTV5. No, it was Alex Smith. You know who the leading tackler for the Chiefs was that day? Oh, my gosh. Second was Steven Nelson. Blast from the past. He's returned.
Wow.
He's a linebacker, Gabe, the leading tackler for the Chiefs. Linebacker out of Georgia. He was a fourth-round pick in 2015. Played 3 years for the Chiefs. Had a defensive touchdown for the Chiefs.
I don't know why I'm blanking now.
Defensive touchdown in Denver. Scoop and score. In Patrick Mahomes' first ever start in Denver, this guy had a scoop and score touchdown on defense.
I am really blanking.
Ramik Wilson.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Why I always remember him is because of that scoop and score. Because if you think about who scored the touchdowns in Patrick Mahomes' first career game, Ramik Wilson, Kareem Hunt, Anthony Sherman. So why do I have that memorized? I don't know.
I'm looking forward to Sunday, I will say this. And I think any NFL fan should be intrigued because they've seen what the Chiefs' defense has allowed when they've played Bryce Young, when they've played Zach Wilson at time like last year. There's been people play with an increased focus when they get a chance at the champs.
Yeah.
So
we shall see. A little bit going back in time because I was not here Monday. Gabe was not here Monday. And then yesterday I was not on the rundown with Marlia. But I did want to touch on the border war, Gabe, because I believe the quote you said was, I don't know why Mizzou basketball should even show up to the gym.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
KU's going to win by 732. And I said, I don't know, Gabe.
I think one of the worst takes I've ever said on this show might have been Mizzou doesn't play with enough defensive what was the description? Not enough defensive discipline to win this game. They forced KU into
they turned
an
the ball
absurd amount of turnovers. KU had more turnovers in the first half than they average all season long. So,
and I don't know how much of that was due to MU's defense or also KU being lackadaisical, but I give the Tigers credit and you for being wrong.
Yes. I was blatantly wrong.
But like I don't think that's a tough, because college basketball is so hard to predict early in November and December, especially nowadays where we didn't know what this Mizzou team necessarily would be. They played one game of any substance, really. Well, two if you count Cal, which if you don't count Cal, I think that's understandable. Whereas KU had been really tested. KU had experience as a team together. Like, there was no reason to absolutely be confident that Mizzou would come out and not just beat KU, but almost run them out of the gym. I mean, it was 24 points early in the second half.
When it got down to 2 in the second half, I was like, man, KU's got – like, I think if you play that game 10 times with those two teams and those two rosters, that is the one of the most positive outcomes for Mizzou possible.
Well, how many times do you think Mizzou wins out of 10 times?
2 or 3.
Yeah, I was going to say like 2.5. Yeah.
And that's largely because I think that what KU did in the second half is more like what they should have been doing the whole time. They increased the amount of threes that they took, and they got everything else at the rim. The first half, it was either turning the ball over or a lot of settling for mid-range jump shots.
But that takes the context of the game
out
of. And so that's where I can't read too much into that, because now if it had flipped, if KU played like a good first half then fell off, it's a different. But, I mean, when Mizzou's up 24, Dennis Gates kind of had a weird rotation there for like a couple minute span, which I get you're up 24, you want to, maybe try to conserve some energy. But, I mean, Mizzou, it looked like they kind of took their foot off the gas, which I don't necessarily blame them. It almost cost them, but they never actually didn't hold the lead. I got to 2, and then Mark Mitchell had a key 3. But I also thought a cool storyline game to come out of it was 2 Kansas City natives. Tamar Bates had 29 points, and Mark Mitchell had a handful of points. They combined for, I think, like 46.
I mean, Mark Mitchell hit the biggest shot of the game.
3 in the corner, I agree.
The 3 in the if that is a miss and a rebound, how many times in your college basketball viewing experience life have you seen a key critical stop and then a Bill Self point guard walks the ball up the court and they run a play that gets a layup, and it's just crowd goes quiet on the road and back.
There was another key play,
huge shot from Mark
where
Mitchell.
Hunter Dickinson had a turnover in the second half where they were kind of on their run and they knocked it out and then went back and scored. No, it was an impressive atmosphere. I also thought Mizzou fans really brought it. Bill Self even said the court storming was really great. Which, as Bill Self has been part of a handful of court stormings, for him to compliment the enemy like that, I thought was high praise. And it's the first MU's first win over the number 1 ranked team in the country since 1997.
Yeah.
First win over KU since 2012. I think this is a season-defining win. I think it's a program-defining win. I think this is something that Mizzou fans can hang their hat on for years to come, regardless of how good this team is, because the SEC is really good, Gabe.
Yeah,
they've got
the SEC is the best league in America right now.
They got like 12 tournament teams potentially.
The SEC, unranked SEC teams, have a winning record against AP top 25 teams this year. They're 6-5.
There's
That's
5
really
in the top
impressive.
9 of the AP of KenPom, I think. And so Mizzou might lose a handful of games. Well, Mizzou probably will lose a handful of games this year. That doesn't mean they're a bad team, and that doesn't take away the significance of this win.
And it doesn't change the fact that if they beat the right SEC teams, like a 20-win season in this SEC with beating the right teams is a good resume that could get you in. I think the last thing that I'll say, I just pulled this up on KenPom because I wanted to see what some comparable things. Mizzou right now is 50th in KenPom. I know we don't have a lot of time. I just want to hit on this. Big 12 teams that are similar. BYU is 47, West Virginia is 48, Arizona State is 51. So KU is going to play similar teams on the road this year, and their ability to handle environments is going to be critical. They've not been good on the road.
No, they've lost 8 of their last 9 road games.
They're 3-9 on the road with Hunter Dickinson,
and they've won a handful of neutral games that have been good wins. So, I don't know. At a certain point, I think that's just kind of fluke and luck. But 8 out of 9 is not nothing. But it's only 2 with this team. I'm not going to penalize them last year for what Nick Timberlake couldn't do last year, or Parker Brown. Shout out Parker Brown. But this team is a lot more talented. So either way, good win. All right, we're going to rapid fire through these last couple. Gabe, your thoughts on the bowl game slate and specifically the college football playoff. I give you 1 minute to sound off on your Arizona State Sundays.
So Mizzou, Iowa, it will be fun. It'll be one of those. It's one of those games where the SEC and Big Ten thumpers, those people who like to believe that one conference is better than the other or not, they will somehow use that game to argue that the top of the league is better or not against the other. So that will lead to a bunch of dumb arguments online. K-State against Rutgers. That will be an interesting one, I think, just because Rutgers was actually sneaky in some games in the Big Ten this year.
Okay.
I think that it's certainly not the bowl game that you want to be in if you're a K-State fan playing in Phoenix the day after Christmas. But it is what it is. You had 8 wins, and you finished in 6th place in the Big 12. Yeah. So you missed out on that opportunity. The college football playoff, it is an absolute and absurd joke that Arizona State is behind Boise State in the college football playoff rankings. Arizona State should have been the 3 seed. Arizona State should have gotten the Fiesta Bowl. If you're a Big 12 fan and you root for any of the other Big 12 programs, you should want Arizona State to win and help the conference get more money, more revenue to disperse across, because every round that the league plays in, it gets more money, more revenue sharing from the college football playoff. So if you want some of that trickle down, the conference is at a spot where it needs it. I think I'm concerned that we saw 1 year of this and we got a group of 5 team getting a bye, and we got a 2-loss Big 12 team get a bye, and the other option was a 3-loss ACC team. And the SEC and Big Ten are going to want to ditch the first-round byes.
4 conference champions.
4 conference champions, yeah. And I think that I just really think that there should be a reward for winning a conference championship.
An automatic bid.
And
that's not enough reward to guarantee your spot?
I think that winning a league is more impressive than finishing 5th in the SEC or the Big Ten.
On the league, depends on the team and resume.
If they're going to expand or change the
Clemson should not be, a top 4 seed.
I think
a top 5 seed.
Yeah, that I would agree with, but that's where I'm saying it. At the very least,
in a normal year where you don't have Boise State,
my compromise would be, I think it's absurd that people think so low of the Big 12 that we're supposed to think that ASU was ranked at 10. Like ASU, if they weren't even going to get the bye, and if you wanted to just give the top 4 byes to throw in Penn State and throw in Texas, I don't feel like it's a disrespect to Texas that a Texas team whose best win is 8-4 A&M didn't get a bye. That is so. I think that conference champs should at the very least get that first weekend home game, and that's where it should have ended up. So we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot more upsets than people realize, especially Georgia playing without Carson Beck.
Well, it's wide open. I agree. Are you going to the Arizona State
I will
game?
Not be. I'm getting married at the end of the month, and then I'm going on a honeymoon, so I will not be going to Atlanta. If it was any other year, I probably would try to.
You're saving up for the next round when they advance?
If they advance and if they get to the Cotton Bowl, somebody might be driving back to Dallas. But we'll see. We'll see.
Good vibes there.
Got to be either Clemson or Texas, and I think it's doable. Cam Scatterbu also got robbed of being a Heisman finalist.
I was going to give you a lot more time for all this, but you spent so long on talking about Jameis Winston quotes. Finally, Chapel